Hello my friends, in this documentary, for which I believe it's going to be about 2 hours long, I will continue to talk about 2016 presidential elections. I rather should say, and I'm going to point out the direction in which the whole thing is moving. I don't know, today is the 18th, tomorrow is 19, and really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. There are only two things that can happen, okay? One is that already totally rigged 2016 presidential elections. Now I'm referring to 37 million votes that were stolen from Donald Trump, popular vote therefore. And what I did not mention in my previous videos, millions of votes that were casted for the sake of Hillary by illegals, by the criminal illegals, and also dead people, okay? Illegals which Obama have incited to go out and vote for Hillary were not deducted from her, okay? So when you take that 37 million minimum that Donald Trump have won, deduct also from Hillary that number, the illegals and the dead people that have voted for her. Therefore, a popular vote which already was and is rigged, that could now expand to tomorrow on Electoral College, which will assemble and decide on Donald Trump's presidential fate to the next level. Therefore, rigged Electoral College, that's also possible. And then there is that second option that he will go through, okay? So these are the two possibilities. However, if he will go through, and regardless whether he's gonna go through or not, because obviously we're obviously not gonna go and accept the 73 years old victories, or I should say continue to accept 73 years old victories as losses. Therefore, regardless of what's gonna happen tomorrow, the news already is gaining track. Their news, the 73 years old news, is already gaining track in a certain direction. And that direction, I'm sure you already have guessed, many of you, is moving towards, they're creating association, okay? This psychiatrists, psychologists, social behaviorists, engineers, they already are creating association between Donald Trump, Putin, Russia. You know, when it comes to stereotyping of Russia, this has a long history in the United States, and these are the kind of cards they play on. It's not very effective yet at this point, but where the whole thing is moving, as well as mine, it might become very, very effective and very, very dangerous. Okay, these are already extremely malicious assertions, by the way, against future President of the United States of America. It's just unbelievable the stuff these people are coming up with. Okay, so listen, the biggest dilemma that I had was whether I should or not create this video documentary at all. Okay, and why? Well, because the stuff that I'm going to be talking to you about, I don't want to boast about this. This was really a huge dilemma for me, whether I should or not. The stuff that I'll be talking to you about is what the top government officials only know. You're going to find people in other countries, that politicians, that they're going to learn from this video, and so you will learn. Most of you don't even know the stuff that I'm going to be talking to you about, have no clue, or I should say did not have any clue how it all functions. I was really frustrated. I did not know whether I should come up with this stuff or not, whether it's going to create more damage or not, and this and that. But then I came up with plain facts, and facts are that they already are doing it, okay? They're not only that they know about this stuff that I'm going to be talking to you about, I'm going to be talking to you heavily about psychology and social behavior science and so on, manipulation, of subliminal manipulation, how it is done and all that, why and on what is based. and how far this can expand. I'm going to be talking to you about also how it is stopped, okay? I'm going to make it huge. I'm going to make it huge for two reasons. One is that I'm going to empower you people with knowledge that you will be able to pursue and read the news from a completely different corner. From you're gonna apply different views on a mainstream media when watching one than you have until now. Okay, so I'm gonna empower you. That's one of the things I plan on doing. Then I'm gonna take the whole thing to the next level. It's not gonna be about only revealing you this news and teaching you how to read one, but I'm gonna take you to the next level. I'm gonna point you out how to beat the shit out of the 73 years old news. Because you know why? Because we got nothing to lose. Okay, we got nothing to lose and we got everything to win, just like Donald Trump said. This is how we're gonna do it, okay? So first, I'm gonna point you out the news, the way I see it, and this is not the way you have seen it from other news outlets. I wouldn't be making this if I would have the same perception as other news outlets have. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how they was on what this is based on, this news. Then I'm going to show you exactly how it is done, and then I don't know, is it third or fourth? I'm going to point you out how to beat the shit, like I said, out of the 73 years old news. So, my friends, Donald Trump, sir, there's no longer enough for us to play according to their music, or I should say dance according to their music. It's not even any longer affordable for us to match their their play. We can't do that any longer. We have to take control over the situation. We got to take control over the situation and start making our own news. Okay? We slowly have to gradually, systematically, we got to push that 73 years old news away, and we got to start making our own music. This is what I am talking about, and this is what I'm going to be talking about. Maybe 1 hour and a half, 2 hour long video that I have for you coming now.
For those of us climbing to the top of the food chain, there can be no mercy. There is but one rule: hunt or be hunted.
The Russians can't change us or significantly weaken us. They are a smaller country, they are a weaker country, their economy doesn't produce anything that anybody wants to buy except oil and gas and arms. They don't innovate.
I understand they also eat dump.
They drink the milk and blood of their animals. With a headless arrow, they make an incision in the animal's vein and collect its blood in a bowl.
That's what you call innovation. Here's a milkshake for you.
Later they'll mix it with milk. It's an original kind of milkshake, strawberry in colour and very nutritious.
And a little bit dump inside too, it's good. This is in Obama's homeland, Kenya. Just a question, does this remind you of people? They are extremely innovative where Obama is coming from. Surely ingenuity is this. Obama's homeland. Time for a change for America. Oh boy, this Russians. Oh boy, Russians. Here, a little bit more about Obama's homeland and his continent. The change that he brought to America and world. Maybe you want to try some. What an invention that is, boy. Oh, Russians. Boy, this Russians, right? Yum, yum. A little too much for my taste.
The My father grew up herding goats in Kenya.
1957, about 59, 60 years ago. This is what Russia looked like in space. What the hell do the Russians know, right? First human in space, look, in year 1961. It looked like Canyon though. First orbital station, 1971. Tell me, what would Russians do without Africa, blacks? Poor Russians. He totally reminds me, this Russian totally reminds me of Kenya. Totally, it's exactly the same thing. Actually, this is not Russian, this is actually Kenyan, you see. And before what you have seen, that was, those were Russians. It was the Russians that you have seen first, when it says Kenya. That's how Obama news works anyway. That's a Kenyan flag right there. You can see the Kenyan flag. It's right there.
But my father grew up herding goats in Kenya.
The wacky world of Zambian astronauts, whose leader in 1962 confidently predicted they'll be the first men on the moon.
Mr. Pleasure, is this the site for your rocket launching program? And could you tell me where your rocket is?
Yes, this is the rocket launching site, and my rocket is just here.
Ground control to Major Tom.
And what is the name of your organization?
The name of my organization is National Academy of Science, Space Research and Astronomical Research.
Check ignition and may God's love be with you.
When will you fire off your first rocket, and where will you send it to?
I will fly it from Osaka, and it will go straight to the moon.
To most, these people are just a bunch of crackpots, and from what I have seen today, I'm inclined to agree.
On Earth, he would launch another rocket that would put Zambia on Mars, just days after launch on Zambia's first Independence Day on October 14, 1964. But the launch never happened. Nicoloso, a clearly driven man who thought very highly of himself, believed his technology to be 7 years ahead of the Soviets and the United States. He even accused them of stealing his technology, despite the fact that to this day there is no evidence of what that technology even was.
But my father grew up herding goats in Kenya.
President Obama said the U.S. will take action against Russia for its alleged involvement in the U.S. presidential election, after U.S. intelligence concluded Russia tried to influence the election by hacking institutions and members of the Democratic Party, and Russian President Vladimir Putin personally authorized the hacking campaign.
I think there is no doubt that when any foreign government tries to impact the integrity of our elections, that we need to take action, and we will, at a time and place of our own choosing. Some of it may be explicit and publicized, some of it may not be. But Mr. Putin is well aware of my feelings about this because I spoke to him directly about it.
By the way, I don't know how much you guys remember this stuff here that you see, the NSA eavesdropping on Merkel, on France, on Great Britain, on entire world, on allies, getting involved in elections of the allies, getting involved in elections in Germany, France, Britain, Italy, Spain, you name it. Do you guys remember this? Do you remember this news? It was in 2013.
President Obama has reassured his French counterpart he is no longer a target of American intelligence gathering efforts, as documents from WikiLeaks showed Washington had spied on the last 3 French leaders. The US ambassador was summoned to the French Foreign Ministry on Wednesday to explain, amid French anger. After the meeting, Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius said, As much as we understand the need for phone taps with regards to terrorists, that has nothing to do with the tapping of leaders who are allies and friends.
This morning, WikiLeaks published NSA documents containing top-secret proof that French presidents' phones were tapped and their conversations were cataloged by the U.S. In response, current French President François Hollande called a meeting with his country's defense council, meaning the U.S. and France could be headed for a rough patch. This feels familiar. In late 2013, similar documents were leaked saying German Chancellor Angela Merkel's phone and the phones of other German leaders had been tapped by the U.S. A phone call from President Obama insisting the U.S. had not tapped the leader's phone didn't stop Merkel from launching an investigation into the alleged act of espionage. Eventually, after German investigators said they found proof of the taps, Merkel ordered the CIA's top officer, who was in Berlin at the time, to leave the country. Since then, relations between the U.S. and Germany have relaxed. This new WikiLeaks scandal is definitely similar. Once again, the U.S. is portrayed as targeting an ally, but this one seems a bit more personal. The new round of leaks claims information from phone taps was being collected in a document titled Espionage Elysée. The leak says Hollande and the two French presidents before him were being tapped as far back as 2006 and as recently as 2012. WikiLeaks wrote that Espionage Elysée summarized conversations between French government officials concerning some of the most pressing issues facing France and the international community, including the global financial crisis, the Greek debt crisis, the leadership and future of the European Union, and more. The Guardian reports former French President Nicolas Sarkozy told journalists the spying was unacceptable as a general rule and even more so among allies.
By the way, do you guys remember who this guy is? Well, his name is Edward Snowden. Let's not forget. Let's not forget the truth. Where is he at this moment? Do you guys know where he is hiding at this moment and why he's hiding? He's right now hiding in Moscow. And you know why he's hiding? He's hiding because we have revealed that the United States of America espionaged, and this is a real espionage, and phone calls, eavesdropping, internet, email, you freaking name it. Chinese, Russians, it didn't matter. Germans, British, you name it. It did not matter. You guys remember that? He even went further on to reveal that Obama espionaged each and every one of us. Obama espionaged our phones, he espionaged the internet, the emails, the websites that we visit. This is what this guy have revealed, that United States of America really is nothing more than a prison planet, like Alex Jones would say. That everything is monitored, that we are all watched night and day, that we are watched, that they are watching us, everything we do, and not only us, but the rest of the world as well. You guys remember this? You know, this is the kind of stuff that actually could result, or I should say resolve, in a nuclear war. Because this is the real attack on the sovereignty of other countries. This is the reality, folks. And these are not Russians who have done it, or even Chinese. And I'm not protecting Russians or Chinese at all. Just watch in continuation what I have to say about them. But what this nigger, excuse me, because this is what he is saying to us, after he have espionaged us, I'm talking about us, Americans in United States of America. Because Putin have expressed a public support for his preferred candidate, it doesn't mean that he rigged US elections for the sake of the Donald Trump. This is not rigging. This is just a public expression, a public support, for which it's a freedom of speech, if you like. Okay? You don't like certain candidate, presidential candidate in a certain country, and you are a president, and you have all the right to express your approval or disapproval about the candidate. I'd like to see Putin releasing the tapes, the talks that have taken place, you know, in secret, in private, between Obama and him. Or Obama and Medvedev, for that same matter. Because Putin did realize that Obama is a total nutcase. A total nutcase. And I know that the tapes of such conversations, private conversations, exist. So this is the time, this will be a great time for you to release the truth about this crazy psychopath that have brought us on the brink end of the civil war. And even what he is pushing forward now with is the World War III.
John McCain. Senator McCain, you want an investigation, a bipartisan investigation. The president-elect says that this notion of Russians trying to be involved in the election is ridiculous. What do you make of that disconnect?
I don't know what to make of it because it's clear the Russians interfered. Now, whether they intended to interfere to the degree that they were trying to elect a certain candidate, I think that's a subject of investigation. But the facts are stubborn things. They did hack into this campaign, and they did it, I think, with some, at least what seemed to be effective, of sort of every week or so there was new information. And were they hacking the Republicans the same way, the Republican National Committee? And if so, why didn't they? There's a whole lot of issues out there. It requires an investigation. The president has ordered an investigation for the. You're not going to find all this out in the next month between administrations. It's fine with me if he starts an investigation, but it's going to require congressional involvement. It's going to require in-depth.
What you have just heard means one thing only, that the future politics, the 73 years old diarrhea news, is going to be now moving into this direction. This is the course, the direction they will be taking to, well, you will see what I will talk about in this video. But they will be doing, they already are doing this, and they will try to amplify through incoming months. They will build on this very, 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 very news. And they're going to try to create panic even more, mass hysteria, not present now at all, because it is rejected by American population. Heavily rejected by American population. But John McCain says that, and others, you got Lindsey Graham, people like this is what they will be trying to, this news is what they will be trying to amplify, and I'm going to explain in this video exactly how that's done, not only for Mr. Donald Trump, but for all of you who are watching this video, so you will understand exactly what is going on in details, in precision.
And by the way, the Russians have interfered in a lot of other elections. The Russians have hacked into some of our most secret military information. The Russians have been active using as a tool, as part of Vladimir Putin's ambition to regain Russian prominence and dominance in some parts of the world. Here's a fundamental fact that, and we may get to this later on. Vladimir Putin is a thug and a murderer and a killer and a KGB agent. Let's call Vladimir Putin for what he is. Does that mean you don't deal with him or talk to him? Of course you talk to him. Vladimir Putin, and the Chinese, by the way, and other rogue states, view cyber as a form of warfare. And by the way, according to testimony of our chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and others, that's the area, cyber, that we are not ahead, do not have an advantage over our adversaries. Nor, by the way, does the Obama administration have a policy or a strategy in this whole issue of cyber warfare.
Nigel Merkel or David Cameron or the Australian Prime Minister, sure, but it's fine. Let me just spy on everyone else that they talk to. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to not spy on world leaders. Maybe you can save a bit of PR flack if another Edward Snowden comes along. I don't think actually the spying on world leaders why it can cause PR problems. I don't see that, to me, as a real concern. Obviously the internal mechanisms failed, this president failed, this administration failed, and the National Security Agency failed to hold itself to account internally. When there's a failure of internal oversight, other people have to step into the role. And that's what Edward Snowden has done. That's what the press involved in this matter has done.
Well, in terms of this investigation into Russian efforts with the election, Do you want a just regular old through the Senate investigation? Do you want a special commission? Do you want a select committee?
I would like, in an ideal world, to have a select committee.
And why is that important? Explain to people.
But that would I would want that to be either a Senate, the leaders of the Intelligence Committee, Foreign Relations, and Armed Services, obviously. But that takes a long time, takes a lot of negotiating, etc. So on the Armed Services Committee, by the way, I work very closely with Richard Burr, with Senator Cardin and Senator Clarker. We work closely together. So, but what we're going to do in the meantime is going to have a subcommittee on the Armed Services Committee. I'm going to ask Senator Lindsey Graham, who's as smart as anybody on this issue, to be the chair, along with Warren, a really smart Democrat.
Well, Lindsey Graham, that's the guy who called basically Mr. Donald Trump schizophrenic, you know.
What is your reaction to hearing what Donald Trump says?
Disgusted. Well, I'm going to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you like this guy. Here's what you're buying. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. Come to South Carolina, and I'll beat his brains out.
Mike Pence say he's a small and bullying leader. We've heard Donald Trump indicate that he would like to work with Putin and thinks that he actually likes Vladimir Putin.
Well, all I can say that schizophrenia that you see is a little bit disturbing to me. I do believe that the Russians hacked into the DNC. I do believe they hacked into Podesta's email account. They hacked into my campaign account. I do believe that all the information released publicly hurt Clinton, didn't hurt Trump. But I don't think the outcome of the election is in doubt. What we should do is not turn on each other, but work as one people to push back against Russia, because if you don't stop Russia, China and Iran will eventually do this, because Trump is going to take China and Iran on. He should. I want to help him do both. But they will turn on him and they'll hack into his emails.
You know, this guy's talking about stuff as he knows something about it. And he is either completely, like, blatantly stupid, totally stupid, but he is not. Unfortunately, he's not. You know, I wish that that would be the case, but he is corrupt. He is so corrupt. They don't have a single official in a Democrat Party that would match the credential, the corruption credential of this individual called Lindsey Graham. I mean, this guy is disgusting. Let's just put it that way. He's talking about hacking email accounts like as if, you know, that would be an easy thing to do, when in fact it is totally impossible thing to do for the high-ranking politicians, such as, you know, people that work in the U.S. Congress, even myself. Look, if they wanted to hack my account, I don't know how it is with you guys out there, okay? I don't know what your situation is, but if they were to hack into my account, they would be prompted. This is what happens to me. If I log in from another location and my operating system is registered upon each login attempt, and the browser, they match operating system number, browser number, they match internet service provider address, not only internet service provider address, but internet service provider. If you don't have those credentials, you cannot log into your email account. And if you do have the password and you do attempt to log in that account, you're prompted to answer secret questions. And if you do manage to answer those secret questions, which is totally impossible that you would be able to, okay? It's impossible. The only one that can do this is the email provider itself, or the hackers from the US government, which, by the way, could also not access that type of information if it was not for the email provider that supplies them that kind of information. But if they would do so, let's suppose that they would even know secret answer, they would be prompted, the next thing they would be prompted is to enter the code, the number that is sent to your telephone, and you have to enter one to access afterwards as a third security feature to have access to your email account. So this guy is just, it's unbelievable, I would say, but it's so disgusting that is that is just beyond anything that I can possibly imagine. And I'm going to tell you this. It's not a coincidence that all this have happened at the same time. It's the news that is connected to this news. Yahoo, okay, Yahoo, that is totally owned by the US government, by the Rothschilds, just like Facebook is, and Google and YouTube, the stuff I already have talked to you about, came up with the idea that about 1 billion Yahoo accounts were hacked. So they match one news with another, and they are just amplifying the news. They are creating the news. They're creating a paranoia. They are creating moral panic, right? Russians, traditional enemy, and mass hysteria. That's basically what they do. And they do it very, very violently. They do it. This is how the psychology operates. This is how all that operates. Here's the news, by the way, about the Yahoo says that 1 billion user accounts were hacked, and it was released exactly 3 days ago. And the news that you're watching right now from Lindsey Graham and from John McCain, the same timing, the same news, all the same news. That's how that's done, folks. Now you also, by the way, know who got your accounts hacked and why your 1 billion of your Yahoo accounts got hacked. Your president, okay, your President Obama ordered them hacked, and a Rothschild have performed the job for him. The gangster banksters, the owners of the Yahoo, like I said, the same as Facebook, Google, YouTube, and so on, all these billionaires, they are the ones, they are the assistants of this 73 years old news. This is exactly how and why it is done. Do you see what this is? How big is email? About 75 kilobytes on average, I'm going to tell you this. But they come up with these very interesting numbers right here that I am about to demonstrate you. 75 kilobytes is the average size of the email. Out of 2.3 billion email users worldwide, the average mailbox, on average mailbox, there was about something over 8,000 messages that was stored. And there are other sources here suggesting over 8,200 messages per average. However, 75 kilobytes is average size of the message. I can see here from quite a few sources suggesting the same thing. Now, if Russians would go and they would, with their high-tech, right, high-tech equipment that they have, hack 1 billion Yahoo accounts, this is what they would face. If they would be in Russia, then the average speed would be about 11 something megabits per second. In US, if they were in US, let's say they infiltrated in the US, that would be about average 14 something per second. But I gotta tell you something, that those servers could be located elsewhere though. They could be, let's say, in India, but that's even worse. That's like 2.8 megabits per second, and so on. So it does not look very promising. I mean, no matter what, it would not be an easy job for them to do. Anyhow, this is what I have come up with. If they were, these Russians, all right, if they were to download 1 billion emails, because obviously how are they going to go and log themselves in each account with a password when there are such restrictions imposed on our accounts, such insane restrictions? So this will be obviously the only way they would be able to do it, would be for them to hook themselves up to the Yahoo servers, not a server, but obviously servers. You're talking about 1 billion email accounts, okay? And then what they would do is they would pump all these emails, they would have them, they would download them to some place, okay? Some place, whether in Russia, United States, whatever, India, Germany, whatever they would be. Let's just fantasize for a moment, because this is what they're suggesting us. It's a pure insanity, but let's give it a technical look. Let's give it a technical chance to see how that will look like in theory, how that would look like, okay? Average size of the email box is stores about 8,000 messages. Average message is 75 kilobytes, and if you multiply number of messages with the size of the average size of the email, you're going to get about 600,000 kilobytes per email box. And if you translate this to gigabytes, then you get this number here, something over half gigabyte. And if you multiply this number, 0.57 gigabytes, with 1 billion, because they claim 1 billion is the number, then, my friends, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get no less than, you know what? 570 million gigabytes is what you're going to get. Do you know what that means? That means that if we put this number here, okay, this is the number, the same number. Look, let's go back here. Just want you to see this, that this is the way it is. And I'm going to do it for you like this. Boom. And it's a gigabyte is the size, and you know what, we're going to choose this number because this is as close as you can get. They don't have 15 or 14, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit 10, and Yahoo servers happen to be one of the slowest servers ever, so I highly doubt that you could download the email from Yahoo server at this speed. But for the theory purposes, for the fantasy purposes, let's suppose that Russians have used this speed to download this, your email information. Okay, so if this would be the case, then it would take no less than, what is this here, 3, and this here is 3. 5.7 million days. 5.7 million days. And you know what that ends with? It ends in this many years, in 15,000 years. Okay? In 15,000 years, Russians from today on, they would be capable to see the data about your email accounts. 15,000 years. Does that make sense to you? You can suppose that there could be more hackers involved in it, and this time, however, would be divided. It would be reduced. Definitely it would be reduced. However, how much could it be possibly reduced? And let me tell you, let me ask you, do you think that this information, after so many years, and you're talking about thousands of years, would be actually relevant to the Russians, the information of today? I mean, come on, this is beyond stupid.
I didn't know you were hacked. Your emails were hacked by the Russians. Tell us about that.
Well, our campaign vendor that we used was hacked.
And so
we were told by the FBI in August that were hacked in June. So they're trying to destabilize democracy all over the world, not just here. It's just not about pulling for Trump. It's bigger than that. They're trying to break the backs of democracies. They're doing worse things in other countries. And they're trying to get us to fight among ourselves. And here's what we should do. We should tell the Russians in no uncertain terms, you interfered in our elections. We don't care why. We're going to hit you and hit you hard. I'm going to introduce sanctions. They'll be bipartisan, that names Putin as an individual, his inner circle, for not only hacking into our political systems, but trying to destabilize democracy throughout the world.
And we'll go to work on it. We'll go to work immediately. Because the issue of cyber is not a static issue.
But on this question of the election, you're trying to have politics out of it. You said you want it to be bipartisan. President-elect says this is basically cooked up by the Democrats. How do you squeeze the politics out of this?
Because I am confident. Chuck Schumer, in the statement we made this morning, Chuck Schumer said we would be working on a bipartisan basis. You can't make this issue partisan. It's too important. A fundamental of a democracy is a free and fair election. And again, I'm saying they're doing this in other countries, not just this one. So I am confident that we can address this in a bipartisan fashion.
All right, Senator John McCain, thanks so much for being with us.
What you see here is far from true. He might look happy, but in reality, he is miserable, scared, You see, John McCain's near future will involve heavy-duty legal problems. He will be charged with stuff like no other American ever had. The problems that we could say could be similar to Obama's problems, but I see it more as identical problems. And these legal issues are going to go all the way to 9/11 event. By the way, with event which will charge him with terrorism on American soil and against American people. And the charges against John McCain and Obama are going to go even beyond that. I don't know how much you have watched my videos, how much you have read my blogs, but these people are involved in stuff like I said, no American ever was. And I don't think anybody else ever was in the world. Stuff like this. So I completely understand Mr. Donald Trump when he distanced himself from John McCain. You know, we adore U.S. veterans. We love them because United States of America exists because of the U.S. veterans. Nobody have contributed to United States of America more than U.S. veterans did. But the John McCain is just not one of them. I guess that Vietnamese, when they captured this idiot, they have realized that releasing him back to America would do more harm to America than anything else they could possibly create. And they did. Boy, these people did. They made a good choice returning John McCain to America. United States of America always was the country that the whole world used to look up to. It did not matter where you were. Were you in Eastern Europe or Europe, South America, Asia, Australia, wherever you were, it doesn't matter. The whole world used to look up to United States of America. Democracy, standard of living today, thanks to the people like John McCain, American people. This is what angers me with this guy, and I'm gonna melt him down, I tell you that. This is what pisses me more than anything. Today, American people are looking up to Putin, believe it or not, because you know why they're looking to Putin? Not because of Donald Trump. They're looking to Putin because of people like John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Romney, Obama have done to America. The people that have stabbed America so much and so many times in the back that even the worst in this world, like Putin, today look actually even good. It is disgusting. It is beyond disgusting. And boy, this stuff angers me more than anything. Let me tell you, Putin by the way, I hate him, but he did display competence that cannot be compared to people like John McCain and Obama. John McCain, all he's got in his head is anger. He's got the anger, which, by the way, he is not manageable. He is not capable to control his anger, rationalize his issues, and move on a rational path toward some sort of goal, toward something productive. But exactly the opposite. Like I said, the Vietnamese people who have evaluated him in Vietnam prior to release, they must have realized that this idiot is valuable to them, more alive in America than dead in Vietnam. So they let the idiot, they let him go to America, and this is what we have in America today. There you go, lucky me. This is December the 17th, 2016 it is, and Big Brother really is not my brother, and we really are not related, but they're watching over me. They want to make sure that, I guess, they have figured out that something have just happened to my account, that it was just, who knows what have prompted this security features, and I will have to pass now security checks and so on. Let's see what they have in their mind. How do you want to confirm your identity? Well, I have supplied these people with a telephone number, but as far as I see, or I should say, what I see from these options here, my telephone number does not play any importance, so I might just have one removed afterwards. So they're gonna give me a few comments here, and let's see what's gonna happen. Thanks for taking time to keep your account secure. We will continue to protect your account, and I'll let you know if we see something suspicious. My answer to you. So they are hyping people. They have just, today's the 17th, but 3 days ago they have suggested to people that they have the hackers have hacked 1 billion Yahoo accounts. So it must be all this not only happening to me, but also to other people as well. It becomes completely evident that there will be a mass hysteria they are trying to create. This is the stuff we are talking about. Look, moral panic, mass hysteria. Russians, Donald Trump, Russians, hacking your Yahoo accounts, and I see now even the Facebook. So they're gonna broaden up all this. Okay, let me show you this here. Okay, I got nothing really to hide here. Let's go about, and you can see my telephone numbers here, and here are my security features. They're based on pure logic. Well, folks, I'm not making these things up. This is my second Facebook account, just the day after. I did not even log in one yesterday because I gotta complete this videos. So, but this is Operation Mass Hysteria. This time, however, for the difference, at my surprise, they are suggesting that I'm a victim of phishing scam. There you go. And they're suggesting that I have most likely logged myself, let me see that, in Facebook through some page that did not belong to the Facebook and stuff like that. It is tremendous bullshit. And you have seen what they already have done just yesterday to my account, basically the same day. So that means that they are hyping people. This is what this is. They are hyping people. I don't know how many are there. 4? Okay, this is probably it. Now we will help you change your password. Look at the recent change to your account and turn on extra security. There you go. They want me to enter the new password now. Okay, let's do this. Boom. Please delete any recent likes, posts, or comments that you don't want on the Facebook. Why would I do this? I really do not understand. Wow, that's amazing. What is this all about? We can send you an alert if your account is ever logged into from new device or browser. You know what's amazing to me? What is amazing to me is that yesterday they did not suggest anything about, wow, What a paranoia they're trying to do. I don't need any of their infos, because you folks, you have no clue what the Facebook used to do to me. Now, I would have to verify like my accounts, like all kinds of security harassments. It went on like 3 years, were made by you. Well, now they are harassing more. They are just coming up with all kinds of stuff. And this is what Donald Trump said to them. He doesn't want any security briefings. I don't want this kind of bullshit either. You know, that would be stupid if he was actually settled for harassments and stuff like that, like this. Stop this crap. Disgusting. Imagine yourself that you are a US president and you would have loons like this. You would have Obama come to you every day, every morning, and would give you a so-called security briefing. Yeah, they are just I tell you what, they want this definition, I guess. They want me to enter one right in here and have them submitted this definition. I bet they're gonna like one. Amazing. Then you're thrown out. Create moral panic and grow this into hysteria. That's what this is. This is what this is all about. All the way to paranoia, if you like. Make people crazy. Not crazy, but rather insane. I will not forget, and you should not forget either. All through it did stopped, but you should not forget the school shootings, the school killings. It was done on the very same principles, so Obama could have his agenda going. Families hunted were white traditional families using terrorism techniques, witch hunting techniques, to prove that whites are terrorists, you know, in countries of their own. This is what we got with Obama's presidency. That's what Obama does, folks. All your spam email, all that garbage that was delivered to you, all this was approved by your loving president Barack Hussein Obama, per his, or I should say per 73 years old news, Rothschild news. What a beautiful picture. Well, not so. What do we see here? We see a lady here that was set alight, and we see a crowd here. They look like in dismay. They look like scared. Actually, they don't even look like scared. They look confused more than anything else. Panicked. They're not completely in their state of the mind. Let's just put it that way. And we see the same thing here. Boom, this guy, three of them are set alight here. Wow, it was performed throughout the history, on and on and on. Different styles were performed on people that were accused of witchcraft. If you were accused of witchcraft, well, then you did find yourself exactly in the situation that you see right here. Anyhow, small little definition that Google states is, in one sentence, witch hunt is a search for people labeled, here is missing, us witches. Us witches. Because there is no such thing as witches. Witches do not exist. Or evidence of witchcraft often involving moral panic or mass hysteria. Witchcraft does exist. Even today, you're going to see that witchcraft is performed in countries like Haiti and so on. They're still dreaming about something that's about magical powers and so on. It still exists. You know what? If the best description of witch, in this case, we will be talking about, I might be even wrong about it. Yeah, you could say that there is such thing as witches. Well, we're going to be talking about Obama, who, by the way, is right now engaging in witch hunting. So he is creating shit, I would say, out of the situation. But this guy is creating shit out of nothing. Out of completely nothing. And he is doing already this for a very long time. Throughout his entire presidential campaign, he is engaging in creating moral panic and mass hysteria. That's what at least he believes, that the stuff that he performs, that he can take level of the conscience in US population to a hysteria. You know, to make people hysteric about making a panic. You know, Russians associate traditional enemy, Russians, with Donald Trump. Create hysteria. But the problem from Obama is that nobody really is, there is no hysteria in people. Nobody falls for it. It's, how can I say, the Democrat Party, which is the second biggest communist party in the world, this is what Democrat Party is, right after the Chinese one, is now performing actually what church used to perform. And the Democrat Party, the communist, traditional communist party, it is communist party. It is nothing else than a communist party. It is a rotten communist party. It is everything that America have fought against traditionally. This is exactly what Democrat Party represents. It not used to be like this, but what we witness, the rigid support for multiculturalism, homosexuality, everything that stands against civilization, capitalism, because the healthy minds engage in contest with one another. And this is what's called capitalism. And it's what evolution is based on. This sort of world that was protected with the borders, and it was called United States of America, is what the Democrat Party, the Communist Party, the China-alike party is trying to destroy. That's why they want the open borders. That's why they want to erase the people who have created it all. White people, American, European people. You can't deny that the Democrat Party is not a communist party in disguise. It's just a nice freaking way for the communist to say that he belongs to the Democrat Party. Or for the liberal. It goes likewise. The communists today are protected, totally protected, with the usage of the words such as identifying themselves as liberals and Democrats.